and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Rainbow Warrior. Today I am talking about healing through water and fire, specifically the masculine healing through the feminine waters and the feminine healing through fire. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably bored of seeing, especially being a man, you're probably bored of seeing men going, "Oh, fire! Oh!" That is something that I always refuse to embody. It's actually a distortion of trying to control fire and make it something it's not, essentially using fire to destroy when actually fire is a form of sacred transmutation and passion. And this is a really fascinating topic of discussion because we can talk about where the feminine hides and where the masculine hides and the strength of each and how we reach alchemy through divine union. So stay tuned because this is a big upstyling, massive, both select a really important wisdom. And I've known about this for a few years through my own experience when I met my partner who was very experienced in healing, working with men and women in really big festivals, groups, and shamanism, learning from shamans all over the world. And then I come along and show her how it's done. Somebody who's been working in finance, who had been working in finance for 18 years, and then all of a sudden I come along like this spiritual prodigy and show her how it's done. Because up until then, she'd only seen men go, "Oh, fire!" And so we were in ceremony together, and I needed to reclaim my fire. And she told me to stand up and you know, really call my power in. And I was really in my own energy at that time. And I just turned to her and I said, "No, I'm going to do it my way." And I knelt on my knees and I did it like this, really slowly. Dear fire, something like that. I said, I reclaim my fire. And all these spirits, ancestors, brothers and sisters, they all gathered around and this fire came to me. And it came through this level of grace. And I and when I came to, I looked at Hazel and she was just like this. She couldn't believe it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. She said, "I've never seen a man do that before. Never seen a man do that before." And it's really the purity of the divine masculine to be able to reclaim the divine fire of what fire truly stands for, which is standing in love and protection of the feminine. And I can talk about that one for hours, the protection of the feminine, because that's the true role of the masculine, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about alchemy and the healing of the feminine and masculine. Now, um, before I reclaimed my fire, and this is one of the most important parts of the video, is when I met Hazel, and I knew I had to work with a woman, she helped me purify myself through the waters. You can't reclaim your fire until you've done that. And perhaps that's why I reclaimed it with such grace. Because if you go straight to, I need to reclaim my fire, I need to reclaim my masculinity, you're not taking responsibility for your toxic masculinity by first going through the feminine waters and exposing and healing everything that you've done to the feminine akashically and to yourself. And so I did that, and I found it really good fun, but it was extremely challenging because I had to expose myself and all the shame of how I had treated the feminine in the past and all the judgments I had. And through exposure and acknowledgement, I got that out of me, out all those attachments, entities, or my ego, through that exposure. And I'm glad I can share this with you because it's really powerful, and I highly recommend it. And then it was the turn, several years later, the turn of my feminine counterpart to do the same with the fire. And what I'd forgot to warn her about is, because the masculine is very attuned to this, is that when you reclaim your fire, it's quite explosive. And this is why men go, "Roar!" And to hold that explosive energy and grace takes quite some composure. And a lot of speed comes with this. This is why when you see women with distorted masculine, they talk fast, they move fast, they work fast, and they try to fill that space in themselves with masculine energy, trying to make up for the lack of masculine, divine masculine, pure masculine in their lives. And you can see this by being in relationships where the woman wears the trousers and she's dominant, and the masculine's a bit of a mouse. And this is the distortion between earth and air as well, bringing in all the elements here. And naturally, a woman is more earth, she's more shaman because she wasn't sabotaged and removed from the genetic origination of our bodies through the Gaia, through the feminine, but the masculine was genetically modified due to the sabotage, choices, rape, and infiltration and invasion from foreign forces. And this has allowed the feminine to be attacked through the divine masculine. Yes, very, very profound, very deep, and extremely important. And this is why men are more prone to matrix energies, why it's more a toxic patriarchy than a toxic matriarchy, because of the profound implications on what that has done to the masculine. And that has made the masculine a target. And this is why I have such compassion for men, because men don't even know this. And women, toxic women, toxic matriarchy, point the finger at the men a lot, but you have no idea how much men are sacrificing. And I speak about myself, how much I sacrificed. I became part of the toxic patriarchy so I could take it down inside me because you got to be in it to win it. Now, back to fire and water. When the feminine has gone through the fire to then purify her waters, so sexual energy, because when a woman is with a toxic man, that means there's a lot of sexual perversion energy, right? And this is why men and women can't meet, right? So a man goes first. Well, this is what I did. I went first. I said, hey, I'm going to clean the toxic patriarchy in me because I want to be able to um, support, I don't have the words, support the feminine, be there, whatever, right? And so I went through the feminine waters and I reclaimed my fire and great, right? And but then the feminine has to and we were friends at this stage, so it's a lot easier, but it's also very difficult. But in a relationship, I would say this is extremely difficult. And that's why it's always best to work in friendship. And I'm going to do some videos on my podcast about friendship, how true love it originates from friendship, and how we have distortions about being in the friend zone and all this stuff. But it's what helps us release judgment when we begin a relationship in friendship. And my recommendation, if you are trying to make it work in a relationship where you have a medicine path, is to go through a conscious separation but stay together. So you can be living together, but not, but like refrain from making love until you become friends again. And then you can rehash everything from purity, not sleep with any other people, become completely monogamistic between the both of you. It's truly romantic. And I've done that with my partner. Now, when all of this is possible and it's really profound and it's really advanced healing, and I can guide you through it if you want. But the the real power around this is about alchemy and divine union. If you can both come to terms with the profound pain, shame, and distortions that come up through the judgments of sexuality, it's really horrible. Like when you meet someone and they've slept with other people and stuff that their exes have done to them and shit like that, it's really horrible. Overcoming that makes you a champion. Nothing can hurt you once you've been through that. I've had to go through that, and it takes a lot of courage and devotion. And when you can accept your partner for who they are and what they've been through, you accept yourself. That's pure alchemy. That's divine union. That's twin flame magic. That's pure true love. And the the balance of emotional healing. Let's just I want to focus on water, right? Water is so profound. Water holds memory. Okay, water is consciousness. The water in our bodies is what allows us to remember who we are, right? And if we can't remember who we truly are at a soul level, it's because our soul has been corrupted or broken. See previous video about being broken, the soul retrievals. Is the when there's an emotional blockage, see my video on damnation, about it creates damnation, where you blame God, spirit, really deeply unconscious level. And all of these things prevent alchemy, they prevent divine union, they prevent you from finding your true love. Now, water needs to flow. And I talk about this, I'm a specialist in plant medicine integration, is if your flow is a movement, if you stop moving, you can, ending up in apathy or depression or any of those lower emotions of density or avoidance, then you become stagnant, which is extremely dangerous. Excuse me. And becoming stagnant means you become attached, which means you cannot grow, you cannot move forward, and you cannot ascend into higher energies of consciousness. This is how important it is working through the purification of water. And so now let's talk about fire. Excuse me. Fire is explosive, and it burns, and you shouldn't play with fire, but you can also play with fire because there is a fire in every chakra as there is water in every chakra, but there are certain different types of fire, like for example, the fire of life in the root chakra or the fire of the voice. They all need purification, and purifying fire is very difficult. It's easier for the masculine, but also, only if you go in for a purification process compared to the feminine. And now I want to talk about, and this is really important, about deep and high, earth and sky. But I'm going to focus on using fire and water as the examples, but using uh, deep and high or light and dark, right? Now, this is really profound. Get ready. Get ready. We will say that water is deep, right? Water trickles down. It's also, high in the clouds and it rains, right? But we're going to say water is feminine, so it's deep. Okay. Think about the ocean. It's deep and it's very dark. That's the feminine waters. And there's a lot of pressure down there, right? And this is why going down there as a man's very dangerous and can lead to feelings and thoughts of suicide. And this is why I had to work with a really profoundly powerful and extremely beautiful woman named Hazel Evans. Check out her channel to guide me into the deep waters of the feminine so that I could purify myself, right? But for women going up high into the sky, the fire, the dangers of that are losing your mind and insanity. This is why you have more men that commit suicide and more women that are committed, right? It's distortions of shamanism. So when a woman is getting close to the answers of her ingenuity, her genius, and her profound soul, well, the powers that hide behind faces and people commit those women to lock them up so that they can't spread the good word. And the same is with the men. Like I said, they're more easily targeted by the matrix. So pow, divine masculine, game over. And this is why it's not true. Suicide is not a truth. It's an ego death. I speak about this a lot, right? Suicide can easily be avoided when you understand how to kill the ego, and it all happens through integration. The same is true for the feminine with insanity and going mad. It's about moving too fast through the cognitive arena, and for the masculine, it's moving too slowly through the density or trying to move too fast because you have to move slow. And if you move too fast, you lose your senses. And when you lose your senses, you lose your well-being. And this is how we end up in mental health issues. I'm giving such absolute gold. I should be charging for this, right? Now, this this is so profound, right? Now, I mentioned at the beginning the distortions in the masculine and feminine about how in a relationship one is high and one is low, and when they're mixed up, there's more distortions. But you can heal that very easily by moving in positions, reclaiming your fire, reclaiming your pure waters. Now, this next bit's even more profound, right? If you have worked in healing and you've been working for it for years, you know how difficult it is. You know, it's the mother of all wounds and the father of all wounds, the father wound and the mother wound, because it's the as above, so below. The father wound is the God wound, and the mother wound is the goddess wound, and it's passed down through generation. So if your mother and your father haven't healed all the wounds, which is extremely unlikely, if they haven't healed, then they've passed it on to you. They've probably held a lot, but they've passed a lot on. And it comes through ancestral lineage of blood and also spiritually through your Akash as well, through multiple lifetimes. So there's always a lot to heal. But the most profound healing wounds are abandonment of the mother, so leaving the womb, and the father wound is well, there's also abandonment there as well, but there's a lot to do with the father wound and the mother wound, right? Now, if Father God is in sky and heaven, masculine, and the goddess, I'm just making it easy, and the goddess, the feminine, Gaia, is in the earth, in the darkness, the waters, then I will explain to you why men and women, how they hide in their own distortions away from each other. The Now look at it this way. The you get daddy's little girl and a mummy's boy, right? So the mother favors the son, so men hide in the dark. The father favors the daughter, so women hide in the light. This is why the matriarchy is so invisible, because women hide in the light, holier than thou, self-righteous, very difficult to expose when there's so much light. And the masculine, well, it is so easy to see the darkness. It's plain to see everywhere. You look at the toxic patriarchy, there's abuse everywhere. It's just plain to see. You can't hide it, right? But look at a man who goes to work. He's a professional, right? He'll turn up and work and press all the right buttons and say all the right things. And you think, oh, okay, this guy's all right. But when he goes home in the dark, you know, whacks open the tissues, puts on some porn, and he's then living his distortions, right? Now, you look at that in an office with women, you, I don't know about you, but I've noticed women are very bitchy at work because they can't hide it. They can't hide, sorry, because they try to hide the distortions in the light. So in the light of day, they're more visible, right? Whereas the man, he's like just getting on with his job. Like, why are women so bitchy? And he's going at home and he's probably being a total asshole to his girlfriend, right? Narcissistic. And so when the woman goes home to her heart, into the darkness, into the womb, she's really polite and caring to her partner, and she doesn't understand why she's getting abused. So her distortions come out less in the dark because that's where she's from. She's at home. So you can see how this is where the masculine and feminine hide, and it's really profound. So when a woman and a man in divine union, like I've been doing, like I have been doing with my partner, choose to look at that and heal, it's incredible. You can really come together in divine ecstasy, and you can heal and achieve anything. And the levels of love that are available, and I speak for myself, between me and my partner, make me weep. They make, we cry so much because we love each other so much, and nothing can break that. You just become solid. That nothing can break that. And I really am sharing from a really pure place when I say this is available for everyone. And you look at my other video on the second coming, what the real second coming is, and it's us, it's all of us. We're all coming. So get ready and welcome yourself to this new paradigm of healing. And I'm here to guide you. if you allow it. Thank you. Over and out to the next incredible video. Ciao for now.